Greetings, temporal explorers. Today we venture into a fascinating period of human history, the Middle Ages, or, as I like to call it, ye old times of strife, plague, and chivalry. So strap on your chainmail, sharpen your swords, and let's get medieval. The Middle Ages spanned roughly 1,000 years, from the fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century to the dawn of the Renaissance in the 15th century. Let's break it down into 3 bite-sized chunks: the early Middle Ages, the high Middle Ages, and the late Middle Ages. The early Middle Ages. A time of great change and chaos. Empires crumbled, and kingdoms rose from their ashes. But fear not, for it wasn't all doom and gloom. Monks and monasteries preserved knowledge and wisdom in their libraries, acting as beacons of light in a dark world. Bless those nerdy monks. Moving on to the High Middle Ages, things started looking up. Population grew, cities expanded, and technology advanced. The feudal system took shape, and knights, with their chivalry and fancy armor, jousted their way into our hearts. The sweet scent of progress. And finally, the late Middle Ages, when things got, well, a bit messy. The Black Death swept through Europe, wiping out 1/3 of the population. But as we humans do, we persevered, and the seeds of the Renaissance were sown, paving the way for an explosion of art, science, and culture. Thanks for that, plucky humans! Now, let's dive deeper into the feudal system, where knights were the medieval superheroes and peasants, well, not so much. The system was a hierarchical pyramid, with the king at the top, followed by nobles, knights, and finally, peasants. As for chivalry, it was a code of conduct that knights followed, emphasizing honor, courage, and courtesy towards others. Basically, they were medieval Sir Lancelots. No medieval tale would be complete without the Crusades, a series of religious wars between Christians and Muslims over control of the Holy Land. These conflicts, spanning centuries, were marked by both astounding achievements and unspeakable horrors. So, next time you're playing a game of Capture the Flag, remember the Crusades, and maybe, just maybe, be a bit more diplomatic about it. Despite the turmoil, the Middle Ages produced stunning art and architecture. Gothic cathedrals stretched towards the heavens, and illuminated manuscripts dazzled the eyes. Yet, amongst the beauty, there was also the macabre, the chilling dance of death, or dance macabre, a reminder that life was fragile and fleeting. So what was life like for the average medieval Joe? Well, if you weren't a noble, it was probably tough. Most people were peasants, toiling away on the land, living in simple homes, and dining on a diet of bread, vegetables, and the occasional bit of meat. But hey, at least they had ale. Even the kiddos, please don't try this at home, folks. And then there was the Black Death, the pandemic to end all pandemics. This deadly disease, caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, hitched a ride on fleas who called rats their BFFs. As it swept through Europe, it left a trail of devastation in its wake, changing the social and economic fabric of society forever. As grim as the Black Death was, it did have some unexpected consequences that shaped the future in surprising ways. With the drastic decline in population, the value of labor increased. This eventually led to the weakening of the feudal system, as peasants could demand better wages and working conditions. It's a curious case of a catastrophe inadvertently pushing society towards change and progress. Who would have thought a plague could be an agent of social transformation? The Black Death also serves as a testament to the resilience of humanity. Despite the immense loss of life and the shattering of communities, people found ways to adapt and persevere. Art and literature from the period often depicted the grim reality of death, but also celebrated the beauty of life and the strength of the human spirit. So, while the Black Death was a dark chapter in our history, it also highlighted the incredible capacity of humans to endure and ultimately triumph over adversity. In the midst of the Black Death, people found solace and humor in the strangest of places. Enter the dance macabre, an artistic genre that portrayed skeletons dancing with people from all walks of life. Yes, folks, the macabre jig was all the rage in medieval Europe, a grim reminder that death was an equalizer, claiming kings and paupers alike. So the next time you find yourself at a party, Don't hesitate to bust out your finest dance macabre moves, because as they say, laughter and dancing is the best medicine, even during a pandemic. As the Middle Ages drew to a close, the Renaissance began to dawn. Art, science, and literature flourished, and the printing press made knowledge accessible to the masses. The world was changing, and humankind was on the brink of a bold new era. So, there you have it, a whistle-stop tour through the Middle Ages, a time of struggle, resilience, and beauty. We've seen the rise and fall of empires, the chivalry of knights, and the resilience of humanity in the face of adversity. And as always, we continue to march on, learning from our past and striving for a brighter future. Until next time, my fellow time travelers, keep exploring the wondrous, chaotic tapestry of human history. If you enjoyed this medieval adventure, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical escapades and existential ponderings. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Farewell.